text you shortly.
Once inside the home, police say they found the entire family, all 8 members, dead.
8 people, 1 house. And by the time firefighters got the door open, there was nothing left to save the more you learn about it. I need you to sit with that for a second, because this isn't the kind of story that gets easier to say out loud the more you learn about it. This happened in Grand Haven, Michigan. A quiet township, a family of 8, a house on Riverside Trail. Firefighters were called out just before noon on a Friday for what sounded at first like an ordinary electrical fire. White smoke, a strange smell, nothing that should have ended the way it did. Here's the part that changes everything. When crews got inside, they found the entire family dead. 2 adults, 6 children, ages 5 to 15.
And it didn't take long for investigators to realize this wasn't a fire that just happened to a family. This was something someone did to a family.
What was going on before authorities were called to the house for that fire? Then, this week, the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office shared what their investigation had found.
The deceased adults are Christopher Carlwitz, age 47 of Grand Haven, and Amanda Carlwitz, age 39 of Grand Haven. The couple were married.
And Amanda Carlwitz had been married for years. Amanda worked as a substitute teacher. She'd just taken 2 of their children, both adopted from China, on a trip overseas. Anyone who saw her social media saw a woman who documented bucket lists and beach days and family breakfasts. Friends described her, in their own words, as one of the most loving people they knew. And that's the part that makes this so hard to hold on to, because everything about how this family looked from the outside was the opposite of what investigators say was actually happening inside that house. The autopsy results came back with an answer nobody wanted. All 8 members of the family died from gunshot wounds.
We don't have that official report yet, but preliminary indications are that the fire was intentionally set in numerous different places throughout the residence on the interior of the home.
Amanda and the 6 children, their deaths were ruled homicide. Christopher's death was ruled suicide.
Joining us now to talk more about this is family law attorney Randy Kessler. There's just no words for the loss of life in this story. And obviously here on Long Time,
investigators believe the fire, set in multiple places throughout the home, was meant to come after, a cover, not a cause. So now the question everyone's asking isn't what happened, it's why. And here's where I have to slow down for a second, because this next part isn't easy to say either. In the days after, reporting surfaced pointing to posts believed to have been written by Amanda on Reddit back in 2024. In them, a woman using the name Mandy K1179 wrote about a painful chapter in her marriage, an affair. Years of quietly working to rebuild trust with a husband who, according to what she wrote, had been unfaithful with someone much younger than her, more than once. She wrote about therapy, about rebuilding her own sense of self-worth after feeling erased inside her own marriage, about learning, slowly, that she deserved better than what she'd been given. I'm not going to read those posts to you word for word. They were personal, and she never wrote them expecting the whole country to read them after her death. But the shape of what she described matters here, because it tells you this wasn't a marriage without warning signs. It just wasn't the kind of warning sign anyone expects to end like this.
Yeah, and you know, even though there have been these allegations of adultery, like I haven't seen any sort of allegation of domestic violence in this marriage. You know, he worked for the American
Heart. A family law attorney who spoke about the case put it plainly.
Yeah, and you know, even though there have been these allegations of adultery, like I haven't seen any sort of allegation of domestic violence in this marriage. You know, he worked for the American Heart.
There was no history of documented domestic violence here. No restraining orders, no prior police calls. On paper, this looked like a family working through a hard chapter, not one standing at the edge of something unthinkable. And that's exactly what makes cases like this one so difficult to prevent. There's no checklist, no formula that says infidelity plus job loss equals this. Because that's the other detail that
I don't have
surfaced.
that for you right now.
In the wake of this news, the American Heart Association released a statement to media outlets that said that Christopher was a former staff member and his employment had ended earlier this month. They have not said why he no longer worked
Christopher
for the
had reportedly lost his position as a national vice president at the American Heart Association earlier that same month. The organization confirmed his employment had ended, but hasn't said why. A lost job, an old wound that never fully closed. And somewhere in the space between those two things, something broke that nobody outside that house ever saw coming. Christopher will never answer for what happened. There's no trial, no cross-examination, no moment where a jury looks him in the eye and asks him why. He made sure of that himself. And that leaves everyone else, the investigators, the community, this family's extended relatives, holding a question that may never fully close. What we're left with instead is a reminder that the people who seem the most fine are sometimes carrying the most. And that the people around them, co-workers, employers, friends who read a Reddit post and had no idea who was really writing it, rarely get the chance to see it coming until it's already
How
too
can we
late.
make sure people like these are identified in the future and concerns like this are identified? And that's why it's good to shed some light on it. It's good that you're covering it. It's good that people are aware of it. It helps me as a family lawyer when I see the inkling of a dispute like this and I can tell the client, you know, this is
If
crazy.
you or someone you know is in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available 24 hours a day. If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic violence or the aftermath of infidelity and instability in a
We
relationship,
appreciate it.
Certainly.
Before we go, I do want to put some important numbers on the screen. The first is 988. If you or anyone you know are in crisis, that is a number you can call. It is staffed 24 hours a day. Also, I just want to put up the number for the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233. You can also go to thehotline.org.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available at 1-800-799-7233 or online at thehotline.org. Every day, all day. This isn't a story with a clean ending. It's a story about a family that looked, from every angle anyone could see, like it was going to be fine. And a reminder that sometimes that's exactly the moment when it isn't.